Even with the gator his boss Rance Everly had bought for the crew, Cole would be pouring sweat as soon as he stepped out the door during a normal summer patrol. But this wasn't a normal summer patrol. Not at all. Normalcy had gone bye-bye around the same time the kids got out of school. The folks of Maldus just hadn't realized it yet. Everybody who worked for Rance hated taking the night watch, but it was a necessary evil, and a simple one at that. Even the boss man himself took shifts. A lot of folks around town thought Rance much too young to run such a large, complex organization, especially Jim Richmond, the head of the Maldus branch of the Arkansas Agriculture Association, and Warren Maxey, the owner of Maldus's largest ranch. On numerous occasions, Maxey had offered to buy Everly Ranch outright with cash. Rance had turned him down every time, and Warren would grumble his distaste and walk away shaking his head. They all thought it would only be a matter of time before the ranch went belly up. They thought either Rance's old habits would catch up to him, or the ranch would just tank on its own from the guy's mismanagement. But the truth was Rance just had a different way of doing things, and folks in small towns don't always take kindly to fresh ideas. Rance was the first to hire Mexicans and black folk and pay them a decent living wage on par with what white guys were making working the other ranches. He also incorporated the internet and social media on a daily basis, and he used ranching apps on his phone. Rance had inherited the ranch from his father, along with a sizable chunk of money, which he hadn't spent on himself. He'd used the cash to build a guest house for Cole and the other foreman, Mick, and then shipped in 2 3-bedroom mobile homes for the rest of the ranch hands. They were all able to live free of charge, and the only things they had to pay for were groceries, booze, and entertainment. Cole had quickly found a way around the latter by buying a jailbroken Amazon Fire Stick. He logged into the ranch's Wi-Fi and voila, free TV. He couldn't complain at all about the living arrangements for the job. Hell, Cole thought he made out like a goddamn bandit. Rance was a tough boss, but a fair one. After his wife left him, taking their 8-year-old son with her, he cleaned up his act and became a downright delight to be around. Every Friday night, Rance would throw a little party at his house. The place was a gorgeous home perched atop a large foothill. It overlooked the whole ranch as well as part of Maldus. Rance's father was a frugal man, but he'd spared no expense when he built that home for his family. Now, however, it sat empty. Sarah had gone back to live with her family in Little Rock, and the boy Noah went along for the ride. Cole had an inkling the parties were a way of breathing a little life into that big empty house, a way of easing some of Rance's loneliness. Cole loved the parties as much as everyone else, but he wouldn't be attending the one tomorrow. He had Friday and Saturday off, and by the luck of the draw, Sunday and Monday off the following week. A 4-day weekend, and all thanks to dumb luck and perhaps an oversight on Rance's part when he'd made the schedules. How Cole had come about such a luxury was not the point. What were the plans that came with such a momentous event? He was heading to Oklahoma to make a run at the Indian casinos. It would be a weekend full of gambling, booze, and easy girls. He might even take in a massage at the day spa, though his hard macho reputation forbade him from mentioning that to the other fellows. And the ranch's strict drug-free policy, thanks to Rance's old habits, forbade him from mentioning the bag of white powder that would make his trip extra fun. But before he could do anything, there was the matter of the patrol. His route began at the shop, which housed myriad equipment and work vehicles, the daily logs and schedules, work orders, and so on, and he took the gator out to the west part of the ranch. He followed the fence for a mile or so, then turned off to the bumpy, unpaved grounds leading out to pasture. Every so often he would stop and walk a few yards to search for bobcats, mountain lions, and coyotes through his night vision goggles. The older ranchers hated that Everly's men used night vision goggles, but the boys on Rance's crew hadn't taken a loss in quite some time. If Cole spotted an unwelcomed guest, he'd grab the .22 and fire into the air. If that didn't scare the intruder away, he'd pop him one right between the eyes before going on his way. A simple, necessary evil. In all, the patrol took about 3 hours, the equivalent of a round trip from Maldus to the college town of Fayetteville. Tonight, however, Cole took his time. Maybe it was the chilly air, or the sereneness of the night, or the way people suddenly feel most alive just moments before they die. But Cole didn't want to go back to the guest house right away. He parked the gator about 3 miles from the residence, turned the headlights off, and blanketed himself in full, pure darkness.